Well, Thomas, welcome to Argentina. How's it going?
Really good.
A month after Valentine's Day on March the 14th, you're playing the first of two shows in Lollapalooza here in Argentina, a side show first. And then on the 16th, we'll be seeing you on stage during the festival, almost fresh after starting your shows in Latin America. I think you have Dominican Republic, Uruguay, and then us. But March at least begins in Latin America. I then found some US shows, some European shows. Does it make it spicier, more unusual to start over here on this side?
Yeah, to start or to finish, it doesn't matter. It's always special in Argentina. It's true. So it doesn't matter when we play in the year. It's just always some of the best shows. There's always something mythical and it's always because the crowd is amazing and the culture is amazing and we come from far, so every night that we play, we know that we won't be, it's going to take another 7 or 10 years to show up there, which is way too long. So everything is very special. And we do meet, now on this tour, we've seen a bunch of Argentinian fans that traveled to see us in different places. And they're always like, when you're coming to Argentina, it's going to be absolutely insane. And so they kind of hype me up for it.
Yeah, we like singing the guitar parts, the choruses, the hooks, the drums. We don't care. We just sing along to you.
Yeah.
And do you feel different playing in front of 100,000 people, the average per day during the festival, versus the 4,000 and change on the side show? Do you feel like more intimate, more comfortable, or do you like a wider audience, new ears?
Yeah, I like both. I think you need it. It's good to have both, because otherwise you would replicate the same performance often. You'd feel like too much on autopilot or something. Big crowds or smaller crowds, the experience is very different, and it's two things we're looking forward to. So I'm really happy this time we get to do both, because it's been a very long time that we haven't played our own show in Argentina. I think we only did that once. And that was like in 2006 or something, almost. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Both are special. Any way that it can make it unique, we'll take it.
Mm-hmm. I've seen a couple of times you mentioned that, and I connected to what you just said, that playing your own show and not just going through the motion, not feel like you're always playing the same. You try to be as far away as possible from traditional studios. You kind of find them boring or too corporate or too repetitive. What's up with that?
Yeah, well, it has to do with how we grew up, I think. French music, especially when growing up, was a very professional world. It's before we got lucky that the home studio was just starting. And so we could all of a sudden make an album in our bedroom, using sampling, using like drum machines, using just one mic to record everything. But we were allowed to do this. Otherwise, there was no professional world of music. Was very, you had to be trained. You had to, a lot of the people, a lot of the records that came out when I was in my youth, a lot of the musicians were the same. Like there was one guitar player who was playing on every single record. And so we wanted the experience to be unique all the time. We didn't want to pursue or to duplicate this pattern that we grew up with. I do see why it's charming to do it that way. You know, there's for instance, Motown is a label that did it the right way. While it was always the same musician and it created a craft and a thing. But in France, it turned out to be something that didn't really elevate or didn't really show all the talents that were around. So I think a lot of people from the French Touch and all these bands started making albums once you were allowed to do it in your bedroom. You know, you were allowed to make records. And so from the bedroom to like the Louvre Museum to like another weird place, it's always better for us to be in a place that doesn't really have gold records anywhere. You don't, although I love tradition, I love to go in those places, it's still easier for us to get inspired and to write our own story somewhere else.
Speaking of the Louvre Museum, I read after the release of Ti Amo, you mentioned like 2 years or almost 2 years during the production of a new album when it's all day, every day, recording, jamming, creating new pieces of music, and days kind of merge one into another. You lose track of time, and you mentioned like having 6 months, you see your friends and you have nothing new to tell them. Did the Louvre experience, like especially an empty Louvre, a pandemic Louvre, turning that into your own studio, your own rehearsal room, your own place, change that feeling?
Yeah, the Louvre was like an ideal. Well, the fact that it's hard to say it was ideal because it was the pandemic, because I know a lot of people went through a lot of bad stuff, but for the recording for us, it made it better because you couldn't feel the pressure of time. You couldn't feel the pressure. It isolated us from everything, and it was all about creativity. And you didn't even have to be looking for a theme. You know, the theme would come to us. That's a Borges line, actually. That's not mine. So that's. I remember seeing an interview that he did in English, and he was saying that he's never looking for a theme. He lets the theme come to him. Mm-hmm. And that's how we work too. Like we were never conscious about expressing something or conscious about making something. We just are doing it as like a process of therapeutic chemistry between the four of us almost, but it's not a conscious decision. So being in that space, that's amazing. And during the pandemic was perfect for that.
I don't know if we're referring to the same interview, but I remember Borges saying that English as a language gave him extra like expressions, like it was a gray, maybe a gray scale, like things were more subtle and you could be more emphasize more things. Do you find that writing in English, being French your first language?
I'm really curious about the interview you're talking about because I don't know that one, but it's very close to my heart, whatever you're saying, because it's exactly how I feel. French was too close to home. It was too, it's something that I couldn't mess around with or I couldn't express because every weight of every word was too heavy with emotions and with feelings that already existed, that were already attached. English was this language that was just a tool that was neutral enough that it could be more, somehow it sounds like a contradiction, but it could be more poetic. It could be more freeing. It could express more real feelings that we had instead of things that could be more cliche or already used being French. So I'm really curious. I'd love to see that interview. I'm going to look for it.
I'll send you.
Yeah. If you can send it to me or to Renata, and she can pass it along, because I'd love to know about this. This is exactly the type of YouTube I binge watching every day.
Absolutely. And as English did the experience of being I'm speaking about the Louvre, right?
Yeah.
Being surrounded by art and history, did that help you like retain more memories, maintain like a day by day better feeling, or did it just collapse? That 2 years collapse into each other, like you mentioned?
Yeah, it was. So because it was pandemic, it was also a different type of museum. It was a museum that was not functioning.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit like either the end of Citizen Kane, you know, when the castle is full of art, but they're all in crates and under like white sheets, or so it's more
almost a liminal space, eerie.
Yeah, it very
dimly lit,
dystopian, and it I guess what it helped us do is that it put things in perspective. It's not comfortable. It's not a space it's a space that's constantly telling you that whatever you're doing will be crushed with the weight of time, and it will be, so you have to do it for yourself more, which is the best way to do something that's interesting. You know, if it's good for you, it'll be good for somebody else, but it's a very selfish approach making music, I think, in the beginning at least. So we were in that mindset, but the museum emphasized that for sure.
Well, I think in this case, time will start losing a little weight because you have 2 shows here in Argentina. So the people that miss you, the people that want to sing along to your songs, that want to see you again, will rejoice to meet again with you.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to those shows, because it's been forever. It almost feels like a different life. So yeah, it's very and it's the best thing when it's very intense. But I'm glad there's 2 shows there at least.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Thomas.
Thank you, Julian.
And I'm gonna send you that link.
Yes, please.
I won't forget.